People often ask, why do some people treat me with disrespect even when I do everything right? But that's the wrong question. The better question is why we allow disrespect to define how we see ourselves. Because disrespect isn't just about what others say or do. It's about the standards we live by, the boundaries we set, and the values we choose to protect when things get uncomfortable. You see, confident people aren't respected because they are loud, aggressive, or intimidating. They are respected because they are clear. Clear about who they are, clear about what they stand for, and clear about what they will not tolerate. When someone disrespects you, they're testing something, not your strength, but your clarity. They're testing whether your values are negotiable under pressure. And every time you respond with silence, anger, or pleasing, you send a message, not just to them, but to yourself. This talk is not about fighting back. It's not about proving anyone wrong. And it's definitely not about becoming someone you're not. It's about understanding the why behind respect, why some people command it without demanding it, why others lose it without even realizing when it happened, and how small, intentional shifts in behavior can completely change the way people treat you. Today, I want to share 5 ways to handle people who don't respect you, not so you can control them, but so you can lead yourself with confidence, dignity, and purpose. Because the moment you stop asking for respect and start living your values consistently, respect follows. Respect doesn't begin when someone finally treats you well. It begins the moment you decide what behavior you will accept and what behavior you will not. Most people think respect is something you demand after it's been taken away, but in reality, it's something you quietly establish long before a problem appears. Boundaries are not walls meant to keep people out. They are lines that define where your values live. When those lines are unclear, people will cross them, not always out of malice, but because confusion invites testing. Emotional reactions often feel justified in moments of disrespect. Anger, sarcasm, withdrawal, or over-explaining seem like natural responses, yet they do the opposite of what we intend. They shift the focus away from the behavior and onto the emotion, giving others control over the situation. When emotions lead, boundaries disappear. And when boundaries disappear, respect follows closely behind. Calm, grounded responses signal something powerful, that your self-worth is not dependent on someone else's approval. Clear boundaries don't require loud voices or dramatic confrontations. They are communicated through tone, consistency, and action. Sometimes it's a simple refusal. Sometimes it's silence paired with distance. Sometimes it's choosing not to engage in conversations that diminish you. What matters is that your response aligns with your standards, not your mood. People learn very quickly what behavior is acceptable by watching what you tolerate repeatedly. The most respected individuals are rarely the most aggressive. They are the most consistent. They don't argue about their worth. They demonstrate it through how they show up, how they speak, and how they walk away when necessary. When your boundaries are clear, you no longer need to defend them. The absence of emotional chaos becomes the message, and over time, that clarity reshapes how others treat you. Every interaction you have is a lesson, whether you intend it to be or not. When someone disrespects you, your response becomes instruction, not a speech, not a warning, but a demonstration. People are constantly observing what happens after they cross a line. If the behavior is met with laughter, silence, or excuses, the lesson is simple: the line wasn't real. Over time, that lesson becomes a pattern, and patterns define relationships. Many people believe that ignoring disrespect makes them mature or peaceful, but ignoring without intention often communicates tolerance, not strength. There is a difference between choosing not to react and choosing how to respond. One comes from fear of conflict, the other from self-respect. When your response is intentional, it creates clarity. When it's reactive, it creates confusion. Confusion invites repetition. Disrespect doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it's subtle, interruptions, dismissive tones, jokes at your expense. Small behaviors, repeated consistently, slowly reset the dynamic if they go unchallenged. Each time you let it slide, you are teaching others that access to you comes without accountability. And once that lesson is learned, it's difficult to unteach. Responding with calm firmness changes the script. It doesn't escalate the situation, but it doesn't excuse it either. A simple pause, a measured response, or a clear refusal communicates more than anger ever could. It signals awareness, it signals self-control, and self-control is often mistaken for authority. Over time, people adjust their behavior not because they fear you, but because they understand you. The way you respond also shapes how you see yourself. Each time you honor your standards, you reinforce your own sense of worth. Confidence grows quietly in those moments, not from winning arguments, but from knowing you didn't abandon yourself for the comfort of others. And that internal alignment becomes visible in every future interaction. Confrontation is often mistaken for courage, but respect is rarely built in moments of conflict. It is built in moments of consistency. People don't decide how to treat you based on a single conversation. They decide based on repeated experiences. When your words change but your behavior doesn't, your values feel negotiable. When your behavior aligns with your values every time, even when it's inconvenient, a message is sent without being announced. Many try to force respect through intensity. They raise their voice, assert dominance, or attempt to prove a point. While this may stop behavior temporarily, it rarely creates lasting change. Fear can control a moment, but it cannot sustain respect. True respect comes from predictability. When people know exactly what to expect from you, they adjust. Not because they're threatened, but because consistency removes uncertainty. Living your values consistently requires restraint. It means choosing the long-term outcome over the short-term release of emotion. It means walking away from environments that reward disrespect, even when staying would be easier. It means saying no when yes would gain approval but cost self-respect. Over time, these choices create a reputation. Not one built on intimidation, but on integrity. Consistency also protects you internally. When your actions match your beliefs, you eliminate inner conflict. There is no regret, no second guessing, no need to replay conversations in your head. That internal stability becomes visible. People sense it in your posture, your voice, your presence. They recognize that you are not easily moved by pressure or provocation. Respect earned this way doesn't depend on whether people like you. It depends on whether they trust you to remain the same person in every situation. And trust, once established, becomes the foundation of how others engage with you. When your values are lived, not announced, confrontation becomes unnecessary because the standard is already clear.